All right, today we're going to try something a little different. We're going to take just one single day, August 26th, and see if we can use its news to kind of decode a whole country's game plan. So what do the headlines from just one day in Canada really tell us?
It's a pretty cool question when you think about it, right? We're going to treat today's news like a bunch of puzzle pieces. We'll look at what Canada's up to globally, what's happening at home, and even what's going on in local towns, all in the same 24 hours. Let's see if we can fit them all together and see what picture comes out.
Okay, so let's start big picture, on the world stage. Because right now, Canada is making some really specific moves to lock down its future. We're talking about controlling its own destiny, from the stuff we pull out of the ground to how it defends its borders.
First thing on the docket, a huge new deal with Germany. And look, don't let your eyes glaze over at this list of minerals. We're talking about the absolute building blocks of our modern world. Lithium, rare earths. This is the stuff inside your phone, in electric cars, in top-tier defense systems. And the key here, this isn't just about digging rocks. It's about developing the tech to process and refine them, which is a massive strategic play to secure that supply chain for years to come.
And yeah, this isn't just a one-and-done deal with Germany. Canada is playing a much bigger game. They're actually co-funding projects with a whole bunch of allies. The big idea? Simple. You don't want to rely on any one country for this critical stuff. It's basically security in numbers, building a whole network of partners.
Okay, so from securing resources, let's pivot to, well, securing the country itself. We're talking about a massive defense project, brand new submarines. And the two most important words here are, especially in the Arctic. You know, as that part of the world opens up, keeping an eye on things and protecting Canadian territory up there it's a huge deal. These subs, they're the answer to that exact problem.
And this isn't just talk. They've already narrowed it down to two heavy hitters, ThyssenKrupp from Germany and Hanwha Ocean from South Korea. This tells you one thing loud and clear. Canada is dead serious about getting these submarines built and out there protecting its massive coastlines. All right, so that's the global piece of the puzzle. Now let's zoom in a bit. Let's look at the economic pulse back home. And on this particular day, the story is all about one thing: trying to keep things steady while the rest of the world is, well, kind of chaotic. 2%. That's it, just one number. But this little number, it's basically the North Star for all of Canada's economic policy. It's the inflation target that the central bank is always aiming for.
And on this very day, August 26th, the message from the top was crystal clear. We are not backing down. The governor of the Bank of Canada, Tiff Macklem, basically said that despite all the crazy stuff happening in the world, that 2% target is not changing. And by holding the interest rate steady at 2.75%, they're sending a signal of stability. They want things to be predictable for everyone.
At the same time, we got a peek under the hood of the economy. A new estimate showed wholesale trade went up 1.3% in July. That's good news, right? But, and this is where it gets interesting, check out that second bar. The response rate to the survey was kinda low. What does that mean? It means this number is just a first guess. It's a snapshot, not the finished photograph. It could still change. And this really paints a picture of the tug-of-war that's going on. On one side, you've got really solid news at home. Canada's big banks are doing great, making good profits. But on the other side of the rope, you've got anxiety spilling over from the US that's dragging the market down. It's a perfect example of how, no matter how stable things are in Canada, you're always connected to what's happening next door.
Okay, for our last puzzle piece, let's bring it all the way home. I mean, literally home. We're going to zoom in from the big national economy down to the community level to see how all this high-level stuff actually affects, real people.
$326 million. Just let that sink in for a second. That's a huge number. And that's how much money is flowing from the federal government's Community Building Fund into towns and cities all across British Columbia for this year alone.
So where does that money actually go? It's a pretty straightforward journey, really. Step 1, the federal government puts the money into this big national fund. Step 2, that cash gets sent out to the province. And step 3, the most important one, it lands right in local communities for projects you can actually see, touch, and use.
And this is what it's all about. That giant number, 326 million, stops being just a number on a spreadsheet and turns into something real. It becomes better lighting in a local park, making it safer for a walk. It becomes brand new sports fields for kids to play on. This is where big government policy actually hits the ground and makes a difference.
Okay, let's step back and look at all our puzzle pieces. We've got global deals, national economic policy, and local park upgrades. So what does this one single day, August 26th, actually tell us about Canada?
Well, when you lay it all out, it's actually incredibly clear. You can see this three-level strategy happening all at once. On the global level, Canada's on the offense, making deals for resources and beefing up its defenses. On the national level, it's all about stability, being the calm in the storm. And then on the local level, it's about taking that strength and plowing it right back into the community, improving life for everyday people.
It's a surprisingly cohesive plan, isn't it? Playing out on all three levels at the same time. Which brings us to the big final question. If we can see a strategy this clear from just one single 24-hour news cycle, just imagine the patterns we could see over a whole year, or what this means for Canada's next decade. What we saw today wasn't just a random collection of news stories. It was a live look at a national blueprint in action.